What's up guys, K-Plays here. From the bullfangos that brought you annoying headbutts in the back while you're trying to fight monsters comes Wild Grunt, a very interesting hunting horn. Some of you may have seen videos and forum posts about how this thing is the new best horn. My 2 cents on that whole matter is that we probably shouldn't count out the Rampage horn just yet because it's still really close in power and still has some future upgrades we have yet to see. But that's not the subject of today's video. Instead, I'm going to be showing you all why it's a very positive example of where hunting horn could be going in Rise, and possibly in future Monster Hunter games if it's not just a one-time exception. Let me explain exactly why that is. In past games, hunting horn always had a minor issue. If you didn't want to miss out on extra damage for yourself and your teammates, you always wanted to pick a horn with Attack Up XL. Iceborne partially addressed this when it added Element Up as an equally strong option, and to be fair, it did help. But expanding our go-to songs for ideal play from 1 to 2 could only increase our variety but so far. 20% more attack power were just too good to pass on for a lot of players, which had the unfortunate result of shrinking the pool of attractive choices available to us. You could always just not use it if you wanted to take advantage of other songs, but whether or not you cared, you were still paying for that utility with a solid chunk of damage potential. It was common for horns for attack up to also have better stats than the ones without, which only served to make the gap even wider. There were lots of useful songs that unfortunately just didn't see that much use because they came on horns that just didn't compare very well as weapons. Now, some of you might be thinking, what's wrong with that? Attack boosting horns should be stronger by default, right? Well, yes and no. Hunting horn's core concept revolves around being able to activate and share multiple song effects with the hunting party, not just damage boosts. If one specific effect ends up being a lot more valuable than the others, it starts to take priority and influence your choices. With the way it used to be, you were choosing utility based on what you could grab alongside attack up and high stats, rather than just pairing your song list perfectly to the situation at hand. Now, fast forward to Rise. Aside from the obvious significant rework of the weapon, what's changed? Well, the thing that matters most for what we're talking about now is that the balance has started to look a lot better for non-attack up horns. For starters, the attack up song itself has been dialed back to a 10% boost rather than the usual 20. With the gap between horns and with and without the song a lot smaller as a result of that change, a hunting horn can hypothetically compete for the top spots just based on stats alone. If you really want that extra kick of power from attack up and a horn just doesn't have it, guess what? It does. Every horn does now. Just use the Beat of Resonance switch skill and you get the song for free. For those of you that can't give a Earthshaker for it, there's also that short burst of power built in by default with the Infernal Melody mechanic. With high enough raw, it's possible to just skip out on a free attack up and just work with the short boost alone. All this brings us to one pretty cool conclusion. The best of the best horns don't necessarily revolve around damage boosting songs anymore. We could get some totally utility based song lists and still punch within the same weight class as horns with a typical attack up song list we always used to go for. That brings us to Wild Grunt, because that's pretty much exactly what it is. That massive 230 base raw and access to white sharpness lets Wild Grunt bring both high damage potential and a full set of useful utility to the table. This is exactly how horns with non-offensive song lists should have been balanced from the start. Let them be a choice to make things more comfortable while doing good personal damage, while the offensive boosting horns trade some utility to share power with everyone. The strongest horns look like they'll all be raw damage focused again, just based on how Rise is shaping up, so the variety we gain from Elemental Hunting Horn being a thing in Iceborne might be staying with Iceborne. Not saying that it can't make a comeback with hunting horn attacking so frequently now, but the elemental playstyle on Rise took a pretty hefty hit, what with crit element being nerfed, the echo attack being put behind a charging meter, and the sound hits on some of our most important moves being unable to apply element in the first place. You'd probably have to jump through a lot of hoops to get them even close to competing with some of the raw horns. If we get some more out of the ordinary options like Wild Grunt mixed in with the usual top contenders though, a raw meta might not be so bad if we get a lot of different choices at the highest tiers. We're likely to get another handful of new horns added to our selection soon with the update, so I'm really hoping the trend continues in Rise. The best of the best could look very interesting as the meta progresses. That's about all for today though. I'm looking forward to the upcoming Chameleos update, as I'm sure you all are too. More content is always great, and with Chameleos comes Genie's Ocarina, which, coincidentally enough, was also typically a mostly utility-based horn in the past. Will it get the Bullfango treatment and rock out regardless of its song list? Or will it be an attack booster that puts a strong poison horn at the top for once? We'll be finding out soon, I guess. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to see me take on the Invisible Elder Dragon and tell you guys what I think of its horn in Rise, along with all the other monsters and horns that are coming along with it. Till then though, this has been another K-Plays and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.